Nowadays, everyone possesses a phone, a computer, or a laptop. We are bombarded with advertisements, products, and programs on a daily basis, to the point that they have become a part of our everyday lives. It is unthinkable nowadays to walk down a street and not see any advertisements. Just as ridiculous is the thought of someone not needing or not possessing a smartphone. With products, user interfaces, and programs comes industrial design, the very thing that is needed nowadays to make a product look good and perform nicely. Many products either are aesthetically pleasing or made to be durable and practical, while some other products like the legendary IBM Thinkpads achieved practicality, durability, and aesthetically pleasing design without much compromise. The design is bulky for sure, but the entirely black laptop looks professional while being nigh indestructible and very much expandable. The IBM Thinkpad is a perfect case study of what can be achieved with good design. I myself bought an old model, the T60, for the reasons stated above. The laptop looks good, is repairable, durable, and very much trustworthy. It also provides many options, which is a good thing for a professional workstation. You can pick and choose which components you really want to keep in your laptop and which ones you want to replace. The many ports on the device allow you to hook it up to any external hardware you might need, and the docking station on the bottom even allows you to expand the laptop even further. Choice is what the Thinkpad is all about, a legendary design for a legendary laptop. While today we do get many great modern devices with a lot of expandable space, slots, and good looks, it seems as if we get a lot more compromises as well. The best example of this are Apple devices. Apple is good for Apple fans only, with the Apple ecosystem built around the devices, sleek and trendy design of the chassis, and lightweight and slim, sturdy build present in the majority of Apple products. Those products look very good, have nice screens, batteries, and solid-state drives, but are an absolute disaster to repair, expand, and upgrade. Using an Apple product as a workstation for web design, illustration, or video and photo editing might be a very good idea, but if something breaks, expect Apple to force you to buy a newer Apple product. Louis Rossmann, a professional repairman in New York, demonstrated many times how much of a pain it is to replace something simple in an Apple device. Contrast the replacing of a Thinkpad keyboard, which is easy and cheap, with the keyboard replacement on a MacBook product.
15R. I'm just going to be using a little piece of this video from parts-people.com. You should check them out since I'm essentially using their video here. That replacing the keyboard on this machine takes virtually no effort. You're going to remove the battery. After you remove the battery, you're going to take out 1 or 2 screws here. When you take out the screws, you're just going to pry the keyboard off. You pry the keyboard off, and you're going to unplug it. And then you essentially just put the new keyboard in, plug it in, and at the end of the video, you just put the screws back in. Whereas with an Apple machine, as I'm going to show you here, firstly, with a lot of these Apple machines that have been made since around 2010 if it's an Air, or 2012 if it's a Pro, what you have to do to get the keyboard out is an absolute and utter nightmare. What you have to do is you have to remove everything from the machine. Often this includes removing a battery that is sealed into the machine. Once you've removed the motherboard, the battery, and everything from the machine, you then have to rip the keyboard out, usually with some sort of tool, because it is riveted into the machine. Once you have ripped it out, a lot of those rivets will still be stuck in the machine. So you have to sit there removing somewhere between 50 to 100 rivets manually with this tool. And if they don't come out, the keyboard will never sit the same again. Once you have removed every single one of those rivets, you then have to use a screwdriver with these special screws that are going to thread those holes, because those holes had rivets in them, not screws, so they're not going to be threaded. So you have to individually screw in about 50 to 100 screws to thread every single one of those screw holes, and then put every single component back into the machine.
This is not good design. To move away from Apple specifically, let's look at laptops overall. Let's be honest. The design of many modern laptops are kind of limiting. Most of the times laptops have less ports and in return a slimmer chassis, but is it really worth it? You get a super slim laptop but need to expand the ports with additional dongles, and if you want to game with an external GPU, then you could just buy a desktop computer instead. They also get less and less easy to repair by yourself, which enforces the very misleading myth that mobile devices, once broken, are either too expensive to repair or just not worth it. Smartphones also get more and more limiting when it comes to repairability. The simplest feature, the removing of the back to expose the battery and the inner workings of the devices, is basically non-existent in most smartphones today. Things like replacing a SIM card or plopping in a new microSD get needlessly complicated due to losing this little pin you need to open up the tray, and after half an hour of searching, you just resort to a needle. This happened too many times in my case with multiple phones, and this problem would be eliminated if the back was removable like in most older smartphones. It is very perplexing to me that bad design is accepted blindly by many users. Whether Samsung phones can't be opened as easily anymore or Apple phones not having a headphone jack. This simply is not good design when it comes to repairability and ease of access. I should not buy an adapter for something as basic as plugging in headphones. I should not go see a repairman for something as simple as replacing the lithium battery in my phone. In return, our tech looks better and better, but making your devices nigh impossible to repair on your own in return doesn't make it a good trade-off in my book. The older the tech, the easier it tends to be repaired. Back then, technology was made to be maintained and repairable. For instance, this vintage Italian radio we own. If a transistor fails, you can replace it. If any of the mechanical components fail, you can swap them out. If you just want to open up the device, just remove the wooden plank in the back, and there you have it. CRT TVs and personal computers also are easy to access and repair. As long as you understand the circuitry and what a component does, you can work on it easily. We as consumers maybe should look out better and try to evaluate if a product is really worth buying or not. Many people buy only specific brands like Samsung, Apple or Lenovo, even though the newest flagship product may not be the best choice for them. Alas, my decision to buy an ancient workstation by Lenovo from 2006 or 7. I do not have that much trust in many modern products anymore, especially workstation-grade devices, which cost a lot of money. I expect those machines to be repairable and serviceable for the premium price tags those devices possess. Is it too much to ask for to support repair shops and serviceability for a premium product? Is it really worth it screwing over customers and loyal fans of your company to maximize short-term profits? Well, maybe it is. But I doubt that many followers of specific brands will put up with this behavior for too much longer. A clear trendsetter was Apple in this business when it comes to aesthetic design and slim and portable devices from phones to laptops. While Apple does include some overall nice features, the industry doesn't only steal the good design practices of Apple. No, the lackluster repairability and questionable lack of ports can now be found on lineups of any brand there is. But remember, we do vote with our wallets after all. If you are like me and support repairable, feature-rich and trustworthy machines, you and I both should put our money where our mouth is. If you are an Apple fan that likes macOS for the support of specific software on the Apple devices, or you just like the design of the chassis and how lightweight it is, that of course is completely fine as well. We are individuals after all. Speaking of voting, make sure to rate this video according to your enjoyment, and make sure to send a friend or two this video if you think it was worth watching. See you in another video, and I hope your next tech purchase will leave you fulfilled and happy for many months, or maybe even years, to come.
Themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh, and you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.